Why are you even trying? You obviously have no talent for this. You're just not good enough. Stop wasting your time. Hey, is this thing on? If you're anything like me, these thoughts run rampant in your mind anytime you do, well, anything. Especially when it's something you're passionate about. Because if it's something you truly care for, it's even harder to see yourself struggle. And I think in this day and age, it's even worse with social media. If you go on your phone right now, you can see thousands of people succeeding and making it look easy too, almost as if it comes naturally to them. And this can lead to a mindset where we think, oh, shucks, I could never do that. He just has something that I don't, that I will never have. It's talent. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that talent doesn't exist, that some things aren't just innately easier for some people, that we all pick things up at the same rate, because that would obviously be a lie, and you know it. Some people do pick things up easier than others, but I think we often neglect that the hard work and time someone puts in is hidden from us. To make the assumption that every person who is good at something didn't have to try is not only removed from reality, but it's also a symptom of the way we interact with the world. Famous people, talented people, superstars, they show their lives in snippets, clips, and small isolated incidents. We can't see all that they've been through, we can only see what they've shown us, and make assumptions from there. And I emphasize this point because this is something I've struggled with a lot in my life. I've started a lot of hobbies, a lot of passions, a lot of activities, you could say. But I would often stop once I hit a roadblock. It was all fun at first. I was learning new things, I was developing and all that. But once I actually started putting some decent amount of time into it, I started to find that I wasn't progressing at the rate that I wanted to. I struggled with things that I felt I shouldn't have at the time. And then I would see someone do what I was trying to do with ease and grace, without even thinking about it, like it was nothing. And I think, wow, I guess this really isn't for me. I'm so behind compared to that person, and they'll just keep getting better and better. How could I ever catch up? What's the point? But this perspective ignored the internal aspect of what I was doing. I no longer cared how fun doing it was or how accomplished I felt before. All I cared about was that I was no good compared to this other person who I don't even know anything about. I don't know their life story, what they've struggled with in the past, or how long they've been doing it in the first place. Yet still, I couldn't help but compare. It's no lie when they say comparison is the thief of all joy. And my comparisons took the joy out of a lot of things in my life. To give you specific examples, art, soccer, skateboarding, among a lot of other things I've dipped my toes into, all of these I enjoyed at first. I was having a lot of fun in my personal growth, seeing myself progress. But then there was always a moment, an epiphany, where I found out how much I really didn't know, how much I really couldn't do, how much there was to learn, and how bad I really was. And I did the worst thing I could have done. I began to compare myself to my peers and people I saw online. I saw how they were doing, and naturally, I just couldn't help myself from wondering, will I ever catch up? But I think this is the wrong question to ask, and this mindset will only leave you feeling unfulfilled in life. Your journey needs to be your own, and you deserve to feel good when you accomplish something, big or small. Even if little Timmy can hit kick flips left and right with ease, you still deserve to feel good when you hit your first ollie. And yes, this is a clip of me hitting ollies for the first time ever. I know I mentioned skateboarding as something I dropped earlier, but I did end up picking it back up again and have been really enjoying it, more than I thought was even possible. And I'm allowing myself the time to go at my own pace. Yeah, I admit I suck right now. I'm not very consistent with my pop and my balancing work, but if I keep at it, that won't always be the case. Dare I say, kickflip clip coming soon. But to get back to the point, why have I had the confidence to get back into things like this? What pushed me to really try again? I attribute it to the statement in the title. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? Well, what does that mean? To me, that means whatever you think of, whatever first pops into your mind when you think this statement, that's what you truly want to do. And the only thing stopping you from doing that thing is fear. Either the fear of failure or the fear of wasting time. Maybe even the fear of being cringe, because often we see people trying and struggling to do things as cringe for some weird reason. But this statement made me realize how afraid I really was. I would often make excuses for myself, thinking that it doesn't make sense for me to do something I'm bad at, since other people are naturally good at it. That logically I'm wasting my life away. Logically there's no point. But really, I was just afraid. and I couldn't handle admitting that. I needed something to excuse myself, to excuse my fear, to let me quit. But the excuses I made for myself led to self-loathing and inaction, a stagnant desire to wish I were good, but not the drive to look foolish while struggling. What made me realize this was actually something quite small and benign. Those icebreakers you do in school and classes. Every time one of those came up, I'd have a different answer, and often my response wouldn't be current. I remember one time in my college orientation, we had to introduce ourselves and say one thing we did or were into. And I just remember that terrible, awful feeling of not really having an answer, searching my brain, my actions, and asking myself, what do I really like? Because I'm obviously not doing it. My response at that time ended up being soccer, which I haven't played since middle school. It was honestly pretty humiliating that I couldn't think of anything. All I had really been doing at the time was gaming. You know, Overwatch or Smash Bros, but I wasn't really into those games. Those were just to pass the time, and I only played them because my friends played them. Not really because I enjoyed doing it myself. Not really because I enjoyed getting better at it, or seeing my own progression. If you were to ask me the same orientation question now, what do you like to do for fun? I would probably tell you, I like skateboarding, I like making beats, and I have a YouTube channel. For skateboarding, I'm just now learning. I could do some very basic things like ollies and 180 pivots on occasion, but nothing crazy. For making beats, I've just now started to figure out time signatures and have been kind of able to make cohesive songs for the first time. Here, I'll play my most recent one. It's pretty basic, elementary, but I still enjoyed making it and am proud of what I created. For YouTube, I know I'm not the biggest creator out there. My videos aren't the most insightful or get the most views, but I enjoy the creation process and I'm trying to improve at script writing and have actual substance in my videos. I'm not amazing at any of these things. I wouldn't even really say that I'm decent at them, but the personal value that I get from them, the fulfillment I feel, is nothing to be ashamed of. It shouldn't be embarrassing to suck at it for a while, because I know I'll get better at my own pace. I feel like when you're scared to try and fail at something, it can be easy to go to other outlets like gaming that can stimulate you but really provide nothing. Activities like that make your brain work just enough so you forget about your real life problems for a bit. This isn't to say gaming is all bad. I just mean that personally, I put so many hours into these games to the point where it was extremely unhealthy. And I believe that this can hold true for many different versions of escapism that can take over your life. Anything that can really distract you from reality, stop you from really finding yourself. And again, I think at its core, this was all caused by fear. That's why the statement, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do, stands out to me so much. Though I think the statement needs to be edited a bit, revised. Like, okay, now I know what I would do if I couldn't fail, but there's an obvious issue that we're overlooking. I'm going to fail at some point. I'm going to mess up, to make a fool out of myself. How am I supposed to live by a statement that prescribes to a fantasy land that only talented people live in? And I think these are some fair points. So, to end this video, I like to make a new statement, one slightly different from the title. If you knew failure couldn't stop you, what would you do? If you made it this long into the video, that means this topic probably meant something to you. Whether you relate on it on a personal level, or just found it interesting for me to yap about my issues, I'd like to hear what you think about this topic in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe so I know to make more of these. With that, I'm off. Make sure to stay niche and spread the word, kings.